Hello and welcome to another Star Wars The Old Republic video. In this one I am going to be going over doing a solo heroic Star Fortress on my stealth class. This is basically my speedrunning. I wanted to show you guys this, as Star Fortress is something that I always do whenever I want to make some decent conquest in a week. They've got the nice weekly do 6-star fortress missions, and then you get a big pop conquest, each Star Fortress also giving you some conquest. So let's hop right in with my stealth tank class and see how fast we can do this. Now you can solo the heroic Star Fortresses on pretty much any class. I've done it on a couple of my DPS, I've done it on all of my tanks, and I've even done it on one of my healers as well. The only one that I currently have is a Sawbone Scoundrel, so same as the operative. So yeah, it's really nice being able to pick up the buffs. They're not 100% necessary to do, but that is something that I generally try and pick up. We're going to speed up the time here to make the video go a little bit faster, as there's not really a lot to talk about as we run through here. You'll notice that the odd time you can run past groups of enemies without them noticing you. Now on heroic mode, most of them will notice you and they will pop on you, so make sure you set your companion to peace. Here I'm actually taking a detour. I'm looking for the specialty items that get dropped for you. It's really nice getting the turret from Admiral Iago. Generally I don't spend a lot of time looking for items, but if I see a room, I'll usually go take a quick look. Now that room is not one I'd usually go to. Turns out it wasn't the item, so I shouldn't have gone there anyways. The other thing that I'm doing to help me with the speedrunning here is I'm using the 2 Cloaks Tactical, as that allows you to immensely speed up how quickly you are able to get through. And it also helps in situations like this, where you can sap the enemies when you stealth out to pick up the stuff. Finally get the turret, that's pretty awesome. And we go through the maze of hallways. And then right here, I'm just going to wait for my stealth to come back up so that I don't have to deal with those enemies accidentally aggroing on me, as I've already used the charges from my stealth out of combat and 2 cloaks. As you can see, they're just about back up. There we go. And then we get down here. Make sure you take your companion off of passive mode. I have made that mistake one too many times, where my companion's still set to passive in this room, and it's a painful experience on a tank. So you know, on a DPS, it's still a painful experience because you only have so much self-healing to get you through the boss fight if it doesn't die fast enough. Praetorian unit, pretty basic. I just try and interrupt the first set of assembling adds, and then after that you can't do anything. On heroic mode he can't be stunned, whereas on story mode you can stun him to interrupt his additional cast of assembling reinforcements. The reinforcements don't really need to die, they can be ignored, but it's just easy outgoing damage to mitigate if you kill some or the majority of them. They'll die when the boss dies. We pick that up and we start running. I'm never sure in this room if I want to use rocket boots or not. Generally rocket boots is the better idea, because on heroic mode rocket boots don't last very long. It's hard to get past enemies without them seeing you. This case I just decided to try using the force speed because I knew I wanted to heal. So I was like, I'll heal while waiting for force speed to recharge, and then I'll get the benefit of both. As you can see, I still aggroed those enemies. Came close to not doing it, but oh well. Set my companion back to peace, and we'll just keep running. So we're going to run quite a long ways before we stealth out. There are times when using 2 cloaks where I'll choose to stealth out a little bit early just to get a little bit of extra run speed. But a lot of times I don't bother. The doors, you can't do anything to get through the doors while you're stealth. You have to break your stealth to get through them. So a lot of times it's just not worth it to stealth out and then run through a bit of a room, because usually you're just going to aggro enemies anyways. As soon as I get into the ephemeris room here, I'm just waiting for the enemies to spawn, and I usually taunt and pull the enemies from the other side across. A lot of times that ranged unit will run over to me, but usually I pull him. The melee unit, really annoying how long he takes to build up and charge to get over there. But again, make sure that you take your companion off of passive. This room is a little bit harder. There's pretty high outgoing damage here, so if you forget to take your companion off passive, this can be a really frustrating room to recover from. You might be using things like your items you picked up, or your heroic moment, unity, stuff like that. We do have a lot of different things that I don't even need to use You know, at this point, I've gotten quite good at not even worrying about defensives and stuff. Now, I probably could speedrun it a little bit faster if I was better at defensives, because less time healing might make a difference of maybe 25-30 seconds overall. Once you get into this area, pray that your sun shield doesn't glitch out and that you actually get them. But as you can see, I'm getting no gold looping, so rip! I have to deal with getting frickin' hit by the sun and getting stunned by it, which is super annoying. A little bit of extra healing. The first two rooms are really easy. I didn't even really need to heal here. I just did because. This room, you just have these two guys. The ads don't come until everything's dead kind of idea. So, it doesn't take much at all. Go click your terminal. There's really nothing to say about this room. It's just super easy. Depending on when the ads come up, I'll click the terminal first or later. So if the ads haven't started spawning by the time I can click the terminal, I usually go click it right away. Whereas if the ads are already in, I'll aggro them first. Just wait for that gold ad in the middle to spawn before you push them all off the edge. If you have to kill them, that kind of sucks for you, but go ahead and do what you gotta do. This group, you can't really push anything off. You can push off sometimes the gold, but most of the time you can't push off the gold. Now, your push has already been used, so that's kind of a moot point anyways. They die before it's back up. Otherwise, you know, you can look at force pulling one closer to the edge. Always select the droid on the side and set your companion to attack it while you deal with the rest of the ads that spawn in. You don't want to delay getting that droid. You know, that should be your highest priority. And then zap the boss right away. You can hit for 2 GCDs after zapping before you need to do anything else. The boss has a little bit of a downtime there. So it's a little trick that I try and use. Don't always get it quite right. And then I'm just going to heal up a little bit, especially since the game still doesn't want to give me frickin' the sun shield thing. So now I've got to deal with that. Yay. This next room can be a little bit harder. It's the hardest room out of them all, so make sure you're fully healed before going into this room. You can pop a defensive if you really want to or need to. If you have the turret with Admiral Aego, you're really not going to need much for defensives in the final boss fight. Or if you've got that healing droid, which one is that? I can't remember if it's Sonore or... No. I think it's from the... I can't even remember her name now. Only does the smuggling for you. But anyways, that's one of the things to think about. This room, it's really nice when you kill the droid and you get enough charges, like this thing lasts for 2 charges. Sometimes you have to wait for another droid spawn. Sometimes you don't. Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong room. Am I? No, I think we had to... I don't know. No, we had to kill the 2 droids. Sometimes when you pick up the droid, you get enough to zap the boss 2 times in a row. And again, you get 2 GCDs in between finishing zapping the boss to do it again. So set up your turret. Your turret's going to pull a lot of aggro. So if you don't have a taunt, you're going to lose that turret pretty early on because the boss does kill it real quickly. As you can see there, it almost got to the turret, but I had taunted it. So that's good. Try not to move the boss out of Shay's awesome attack. And as you can see here, not really using much for defensives at all. It's just so easy with that turret and a Shay out. You really don't have to worry too much because the boss can be dead so soon. So there's not much to this fight. Boss is definitely one of the easier planets, I would say. It's generally the one that I speedrun the fastest, sometimes getting it down to 12 minutes. This run here was 13 minutes and 32 seconds from outside on Odessen to back outside on Odessen. So I try and set my timing when I run these to make sure that it includes all the time for loading screens, so if you do multiple back to back. As you can see, there were a couple seconds I could have easily shaved off on this run. And I think the best time I've ever had on this run was about 12 minutes and 18 seconds. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed this. This is something that I do a fair bit, so I thought I'd share it with you. It's kind of a mini challenge to myself, although it turns out it's not actually that hard of a challenge. As always, have a great day, and we'll see you guys in the next video.